Hello again, friends, and welcome into the Gamecock Central podcast. Emerson Phillips with Gamecock legend Kip Bouknight for a preview of this weekend's Carolina-Clemson series. Kip, it's a top rivalry in college baseball.
Yeah, it is, Emerson. I mean, anytime it's Carolina-Clemson week, I feel like in any sport around Columbia and probably in that city in the upstate, it's pretty exciting. But this is a great rivalry in all of college baseball, probably the greatest, especially here in the last 15 years. Clemson obviously dominated and had a lot of great seasons under Jack Leggett, and now he's turned the keys over to Coach Monty Lee, former Gamecock, former College of Charleston coach, and now it's Mark Kingston's second opportunity against the Clemson Tigers, and South Carolina, there for a while had the upper hand, and it seems like Clemson's got it here lately. But still some fond memories of South Carolina beating Clemson in Omaha and knocking them out and going on to win a national championship. So just two great programs in college baseball, and we are very, very fortunate to have two of the best programs in all of college baseball in our home state of South Carolina.
No doubt about it. Gamecocks and Tigers getting together again for a 3-game set this weekend. It'll start on Friday, 6 o'clock start at Doug Kingsmore. Television coverage provided by ACC Network Extra. And then on Saturday, it'll be at Fluor Field in Greenville, 1 o'clock start on the SEC Network. And Sunday at noon in Columbia, Founders Park on SEC Network Plus. So, Kip, both teams come in with the same records, 7-1. The Gamecocks dropped the first game of the season to Liberty in extra innings, and the Carolina has not lost since. Winners of 7 in a row. Clemson's won 5 straight. They lost the third game of their season-opening series against South Alabama, but they swept VMI this past weekend, and they beat East Tennessee State 14-3 in their midweek game this week. So, Carolina and Clemson both 7-1. And the Gamecocks this week beat App State 3-1 in a Tuesday night game in front of 5,874 at Founders Park. 5 different Gamecock pitchers combined for the win. It was John Gilreath, Parker Coyne, Cam Tringali, Wesley Sweat, and Brett Carey combining for the win. And Tringali, Sweat, and Carey did not allow a hit over the last 5 and a third innings. In fact, only one App State batter reached base, and that was on a walk issued by Tringali. So Gamecock relief pitching very strong, and it was Parker Coyne getting the win, Brett Carey getting the save. So, Kip, first and foremost, let's talk about injuries for the Gamecocks. How's Noah Campbell? How's Chris Cullen?
Yeah, Noah Campbell sat out Tuesday night's game for precautionary. He did take BP. He's nursing just a little nagging injury that he should be able to play this weekend, this series. And Chris Cullen's had a bad back for a while. I know he's been nursing, and that's a tough one. Obviously, we know from last year, South Carolina fans, that is, with how things can be with a bad back, and all too well, certainly T.J. Hopkins had that last year, and hopefully it doesn't come to that for Chris Cullen. He's been swinging a hot bat, had 3 home runs this past weekend, and great senior leadership, playing a solid first base. So hopefully he'll be in the lineup, but I'd say he's day-to-day right now.
All right, we'll give you the starting pitching matchups here for Friday's game. It'll be Carmen Majinski for the Gamecocks, sophomore right-hander with no record on the year, 4.32 ERA. And Clemson will start Brooks Crawford, a senior right-hander, also with no decision so far, 3.60 the ERA for Crawford. Saturday at Fluor Field for the Gamecocks, it'll be Dylan Hartley, freshman left-hander, no record with a 9.45 ERA. And then Clemson's Davis Sharp, freshman righty, 2-0 with a 0.00 earned run average. And then Sunday, Reed Morgan for the Gamecocks, junior righty, 1-0 with a 1.29 against Justin Robleski, freshman lefty for the Tigers, 0-1 with a 6.75 ERA. So, Kip, no changes to the starting rotation for the Gamecocks, and it'll be Majinski and Crawford on Friday night.
Yeah, and Majinski's coming off of 2 starts that, Jekyll and Hyde. I mean, he's had a couple great innings. I mean, he was absolutely dominant the first 3 innings of his second start, and came out in the fourth and just he looked like a completely different pitcher. So he's battling through it. I've talked to him. I know he's working on some things mechanically. He has a very, very high ceiling. This is a young man, in my opinion, that with his development and with pitching coach Skylar Meade, I mean, this is a kid that should easily be drafted in the top 3 or 4 rounds. And depending on how much he develops, I feel like could sneak into the first round. And he's a really, really good pitcher, solid sinker, developed the cutter now, but has struggled with his command. And but when he's throwing his sinker down in the strike zone, it is lethal. It's a 92, 94 mile-an-hour heavy sinker, really, really good pitch. I think that's and the same thing for Saturday, Dylan Harley. I mean, he's got the best stuff for a 9 ERA you could ever find. And I know that's only 2 starts, but both him and Carmen Majinski have both struggled, and neither one of them able to get to the 5th inning yet. If South Carolina can get 6 innings from Carmen Majinski and Dylan Harley 2 days in a row, I think South Carolina wins this series. I think it comes down to that. I truly do, because South Carolina's bullpen has been outstanding. They have just been really, really good. But when you have to ask for too much from them, that could bode some issues for them moving forward. But if South Carolina can get some good starting pitching, much of what they've seen on Sunday, Reed Morgan is just pounding the zone with strikes, hasn't allowed a walk all season long, and just been really, really good.
The numbers between the two teams very similar, almost dead even. Both teams have hit 17 home runs. Both teams 7-1 coming in. Clemson's ranked 14th by Baseball America, 15th by Collegiate Baseball, and 23rd by D1Baseball.com. Gamecocks ranked 30th by Collegiate Baseball, but not ranked by the other ranking services. 262 the team batting average for Clemson, 275 for the Gamecocks, and the team ERAs 3.00 for Clemson and 2.92 for the Gamecocks. So, Kip, it's going to be a lot of fun, and this is one of the rites of spring, Carolina-Clemson baseball 3-game weekend series.
Yeah, and again, best college rivalry in all of college baseball, in my opinion. Is certainly going to be a full house, I think, at every stadium, Clemson, Greenville, and Columbia. Hopefully the weather cooperates. I know right now Sunday's weather does not look good at all for Columbia. They've already moved that start time up to noon. By the way the forecast looks, they may have to play it at 9 in the morning. It's just unfortunately it does not look good. But it's a big important series. I mean, South Carolina has not won the series, and I'm not sure exactly how long, but seemed like there for a long, long time. South Carolina really was owning that series, and Clemson certainly had it of late. But again, you're talking about 2 national powerhouse type teams. I mean, just great year in, year out. And I think Monty Lee and the Clemson Tigers are going to give the Gamecocks all they can handle. Really, really talented ball club, and South Carolina's going to have to play very, very well to win those games.
Kip, you beat me to the next question, and that was going to be, under Ray Tanner, the Gamecocks had Clemson's number. But since Ray Tanner moved into the athletic director position at South Carolina and left the baseball program, Clemson has had the upper hand. So talk about the importance of the series for the Gamecock program and for Mark Kingston in his second year.
Well, one thing I think what's so amazing now is what Clemson has been able to accomplish in football. I think it carries over so much. I mean, you saw even in Steve Spurrier's years when Spurrier had the upper hand on Clemson. I felt like that it carries over into the other sports, and even just especially for the fans. So this is a big weekend, not only for the players, but for the fans. I mean, the South Carolina fans are really, really tired of losing to Clemson, and they certainly were tired of losing to South Carolina, for those years in football and in baseball. But that's what makes a rivalry. You're going to have some runs here and there, and, it's I can assure you, Mark Kingston, those players, they know how important it is, and they know what it means to the state, to the fans, and most importantly, what it means to them. I mean, they want to win these games. So, but it's not like you're playing a bad baseball team on either side. I mean, it's just year in, year out is going to be a quality teams that are probably going to make the postseason, majority of the time. So it should be a good weekend for college baseball.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Gamecocks and Tigers, 3 games this weekend. 6 o'clock Friday at Doug Kingsmore, 1 o'clock Saturday at Floor Field, and now a noon start at Founders Park on Sunday for South Carolina and Clemson. We believe it's the top rivalry in college baseball and an opportunity for the Gamecocks this weekend here, Kip. Clemson's been beating the Gamecocks in everything lately, football, basketball, and even baseball. And as much as South Carolina wants to be a football school, Kip, I don't think there's any changing the fact that South Carolina is a baseball school. It's always been that way, and the baseball program for many years carried the banner for this athletic department.
Yeah, it has. I mean, South Carolina, it certainly has. But, I'm very, very proud to be a former Gamecock. I'm proud of the baseball program. I love Mark Kingston and his staff, and obviously was honored to play for Ray Tanner. But, it's hard to say, baseball, football, basketball. But I think the three big ones, we're very fortunate. I think Will Muschamp is an excellent coach. I think he's doing a wonderful job. I think Frank Martin is absolutely just spot on. I mean, if you have a young man that has a chance to play for a man like Frank Martin and Mark Kingston, I don't know much about Will Muschamp personally, but I know how they live their life and how they are with their everyday kids in practice. They're trying to develop these kids for more than life, more about life than it necessarily means of baseball and basketball. And that, to me, is huge. That's what makes me most proud to be a Gamecock. And I talk to a lot of Clemson fans on a daily basis, and I can tell you right now, if my son, our sons, had an opportunity to play college football, and if they wanted to go to Clemson, as much as I'd love for them to go to South Carolina, as long as Dabo Swinney is at that school, I'd send them there in a heartbeat, because that man is developing these kids for life after football. And at the end of the day, don't get me wrong, national championships are great, SEC, ACC, those championships are great, but what's most important is these kids developing to be good quality human beings and help them out with life after their college sport. And I commend Clemson and the job that Dabo Swinney's done, and it's great for our state. It's tough sometimes for Gamecock fans, but at the end of the day, again, there's more to life than winning a college football game.
Kip, are you working TV this weekend?
Yeah, we've got the Sunday game at South Carolina. It's the SEC Network Plus. I'll be on that then. So if you can't make it out to the park, please tune in and watch us, and we'll try to keep you entertained.
Excellent. That's Kip Bouknight. He'll have TV for SEC Network Plus for Sunday's noon start at Founders Park. Kip, we appreciate you. Enjoy the series this weekend, and we look forward to seeing you on TV.
Thank you, Emerson. Go Gamecocks.
That's Kip Bouknight, Gamecock legend, and I'm Emerson Phillips. We'll come back next week. We'll recap the Clemson series here on the Gamecock Central Podcast. Thanks for joining us.